Ça y est. Mhm.
Hello.
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 Hello, everyone.
Hello.
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 La carriera finita è Chelsea. Sì, però tu immagino che sono in Paesi. Aspetta, dopo che l'hanno venduto, dopo non devo usare. Ma scusa, è sassata da me. Quindi sassata da me. Veramente, cioè, poi adesso come la è secca, no? La parrucca. Cioè, no. Beh, sì. Ma io ho deciso, mi vesto da tua a te.
No, perché non riesco, perché devo andare al cinema inglese, qualcosa farò. Sapevo
in un posto incredibile.
Perché si seduta da fuori svolgono molto le... Chi è?
Souheila, it seems that you have a problem with the microphone.
No, not for me, but please try everyone to mute the mic so that we can hear the presentation. So I will begin. Thank you for being here, everyone. I think there are still missing some persons, so they will join us. I will share directly my documents. So before sharing my my document, the workshop will be recorded. So if there is no protestation against it, so it will be recorded, and people who can't come to the workshop, assist to the workshop, will have the recording and can have the presentation. Yes. Okay. So, okay. So thank you everyone for being here for our first workshop on criteria for constructing a joint program towards the attainment of a joint European degree label and its application on national regulations. So I'm Souheila Gassiot, the work package 3 leader at Jean-Monnet University, and thank you for being here. I hope that this workshop will provide us with, if you can mute your mic, please, when you join the meeting. Thank you. So I was saying that this workshop will provide us with a platform to discuss the progress of the work on criteria for implementing joint programs within the framework of the joint European degree label. Our aim is to gain a deeper understanding of these criteria and their application within our alliance, ensuring alignment with regulatory frameworks as outlined on in the work project 3 objectives. So this workshop also aims to explore best practices, share experiences on effectively applying these criteria to establish the joint programs within work package 3. Let me present you the agenda. So the meeting will be divided into 2 parts. So in the first part, we will begin the presentation of the work project 3, followed by the task 3.4 under work package 3. We will then delve deeper into understanding the differences between joint programs, joint degrees, and double and multiple degrees. Alain Trouillet, our Vice-President, will also provide an overview of the work done and the current state of affairs at the European Commission concerning the European label and European degrees. We will also explore challenges related to national regulations and accreditation, brainstorming potential solutions together. And finally, we will engage in a discussion regarding T4U criteria and how to adapt them to incorporate European criteria. So this workshop encourages interaction, so please feel free to ask questions or share comments. And the second and the last part of the workshop, so you will hear presentation of 9 joint programs from different partner universities. And following the presentation, we will have a discussion focusing on the criteria of the different joint programs presented, using them as an inspiration for further discussions. Let's get started with the work project 3. And so this work project is coordinated by Jean-Monnet University. It is entitled Transforming Curricula, and it aims to develop a joint education portfolio, including seamless mobility, which aims to facilitate the student transition from one university to another at the same study level. This involves the transfer of credit, the reporting, recognizing prior learning, and coordinating curricula to ensure that the students can efficiently pursue their educational goals in the universities, in the different universities of the Alliance. The task 3.3, which is the vertical mobility, refers to facilitating the student's transition from one level study to the next within the same academic field across the universities of the Alliance. This involves negotiating agreements to ensure compatibility between consecutive programs and establishing conditions for automatic transition. So by creating a network of vertical mobility paths, students have more opportunities to advance their education within the Alliance, and it also leads to an expanded academic offering for each partner university. The task 3.4, which is the subject of our meeting today, is create joint curricula, and it will be presented later. Then we have the last task, and it is micro-credential. This task will provide a portfolio of existing micro-credentials at each partner university that can be offered to the whole Alliance, and design new ones suitable for the wide range of group from students to individuals in the labor market. Let's move to the task 3.4, create joint curricula, which is a key task in the work project 3. So the objectives of this task is to create joint study programs at bachelor and master level, establish joint flexible curricula as a comprehensive and attractive educational offer, implying seamless mobility, and provide a diverse range of educational paths. To achieve these objectives, we will work on a cartography. We are working currently on a cartography of double multiple joint degrees existing in each university, and also cartography of joint degrees existing within our Alliance. We are working on a toolbox, including model agreements, joint glossary, templates, surveys, and guidelines for joint degrees. We are also working on the mapping of the legal and regulatory framework in the different countries and universities. And we are collecting information on European degree label. And these new T4U joint programs will become part of the academic offer of the partner universities. We will have created 10 joint programs by the end of the project. This is the last objective of this task. So let's delve a bit deeper into the details regarding joint curricula. So here we have definitions of the recommendation of Council of Europe on the recognition of joint degrees. So joint degree is defined as a higher education qualification issued jointly by at least 2 or more higher education institutions and other awarding bodies on the basis of a joint program, which is a study program developed and provided jointly by a higher education institution, possibly also in cooperation with other institutions. And this joint degree is joint diploma issued by the institutions offering this study program in question without being accompanied by any national diploma. So the joint program can award joint diploma, but it also lead to double multiple degrees. Let's see the difference between joint degree and double multiple degree. So these two degrees, both degrees have the same characteristics, and among these characteristics, these shared characteristics, we have the program developed and approved jointly by several institutions. The partner institutions work out the curriculum jointly and cooperate on admission and examination. And the period of study and examination passed at the partner institution are recognized fully and automatically. The main differences between these two degrees is that after completing the full program, students obtain one joint degree nationally acknowledged as the recognized award of the joint program, and this is a joint degree. And regarding double multiple degrees, after completing the full program, students obtain the national degree of each participating institution, which means 2 or more separate degrees. It is important to note that for the task 3.4, we are currently working on a joint program for double multiple degrees, because as some of you may already know, we have some regulatory obstacles to award one joint degree. Now I'm giving the floor to Alain Trouillet, who will be presenting the criteria of the European label and their application to national regulation. Alain, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Souheila. Just a few insights about joint European degree label and a joint European degree. If you have followed the very recent news from the European Commission, yesterday has been launched the new package for higher education from the Commission, and new opportunities have been described. So we will discuss about that just by now. The date we have chosen for this workshop was very well chosen. We didn't decide it about that, but the information we get yesterday are coming just at the right moment. So Souheila, I cannot switch from slides. Can you do it to me? Oh, thank you. Just a reminder for those who didn't know about that. 2 years ago, the European Commission launched a specific code which was dedicated and called pilot joint European degree label and test. Could you switch off your mics? Thank you. So the call was called pilot joint European degree label and test institutionalized European cooperation instruments. There were two parts, two calls inside the general call. One dedicated to pilot a joint European degree label, and this call was clearly dedicated to the tests of European criteria for this European degree label. So the projects which were submitted under this call were dedicated to test these criteria, and they have given their results and their final reports very recently. And the second part of the call was dedicated to explore the potentialities to give a legal entity to the European universities. And so the call was the two parts of the call were explored by different universities and European universities. 1 month ago, I participated to a national seminar on joint European degree label at the French Ministry of Higher Education and Research. And during this seminar, 44 alliances were represented at the meeting, and we discussed about the results of the different projects that were submitted under the call, and it was interesting to follow that. Yesterday and today. Yesterday there was an information seminar on higher education package, which is the direct follow-up of the call from 2 years ago, and today has been presented officially higher education package by the Commission for, and it has been presented for adoption. You may have information from a specialized newspaper today. I had the information at nearly 12 o'clock today. So, why do these two specific call, one about the European degree label and the other about the legal status for European university are connected? The connection can be made by answering to the question, who will be accredited to deliver the label, the joint European degree label? Who will be accredited to deliver this label? The answer may be the European universities, if they have a legal entity to do that. So these calls were strongly connected one to the other by this not detail, but this important issue. So the most recent information is that European Commission is going faster and farther than expected, because if the call or the 2 years ago call was dedicated to a European degree label, yesterday's and today's information speaks directly about the European degree, and they explain that both may exist in parallel or successively, the label and the European diploma. The European diploma may be launched probably in 2 years, probably in 2026. So we are in very actual issues. For those who are interested about the results of the call, you can have a look to the comparative analysis of the criteria that has been made by the European University Charm EU, and they were the coordinator of one of the answers to the call about a pilot joint European degree label. And it's very interesting to read their report. It's available online. So for those who are interested, you have the link in the presentation, and that we will send afterwards. So going more into details, the European label was intended to signify that the decrees has been developed collaboratively across European institutions and meets specific standards or criteria. The criteria are developed through collaboration among European stakeholders to establish common standards and benchmarks that participating institutions must meet to qualify for the joint degree label. The label would be issued as a complementary certificate to the qualifications obtained by the students graduating from joint programs followed by in several institutions or in several countries. So if we are just considering the European degree label, it's a complementary certificate that would be awarded to the students. And of course, if you consider what I said 2 minutes ago, it would be awarded and accredited by the European universities, mainly by the European universities. Next. The impact of such a label is that when it is definitely adopted, the first impact is that it's not necessary to imagine our own criteria if we do not consider these criteria. So they give us a framework to build our joint programs and our future joint diplomas or double diplomas if we only produce double diplomas. What is expected is to facilitate the implementation of joint degrees in European universities, to award qualifications of students graduating from the joint programs, to reinforce transnational cooperation in the higher education sector, and to stimulate academic mobility between higher education institutions. The label may be helpful, and that's maybe the reason why it will exist. It may exist just beside the European degree itself, is that national regulations are not all ready to award joint diplomas, and the label let us the opportunity to get rid and free from the national regulations. Each partner could deal with its own national regulation. The label could be delivered by another entity if you are not able to deliver a joint diploma because of the regulations that are active in one or another country. So this is a more easier way to produce a European a joint European program and to recognize it when we are not able to deliver or to award joint diplomas. Next. And yesterday, the European Commission, and yesterday and today, the European Commission expresses clearly the fact that we will go directly to the European degree in parallel with the label. The label will exist probably a little bit earlier, probably next year. And they proposed the European degree with the following definition. It will be a new type of degree awarded after transnational bachelor, master or doctoral program delivered at national, regional or institutional level. It will be automatically recognized everywhere in the EU. It will be awarded jointly on a voluntary basis by a group of universities across Europe in full respect of the competence of member states in the sphere of education, of institutional autonomy and academic freedom. It will be based on a common set of criteria agreed at European level with the aim to foster the mobility of students across Europe, allowing them to study in different countries and in different languages, to be actors of change during their studies by working on interdisciplinary challenges in cooperation with economic and social actors across Europe, and to be equipped with green and digital skills. Sorry, I directly read. It was written by the European Commission and we just copy and paste it less than 2 hours ago. And how will it be implemented? The European Commission proposes a gradual approach for member states toward the European degree. The European label is presented as a preparatory European label, and a label given to joint degree programs which meet the European criteria. Students will receive a European degree label certificate together with their joint degree or double degrees probably. And the European degree itself, a new type of qualification awarded either jointly by several universities from different countries or possibly by an European legal entity established by such university. Such students receive a European degree. And the question, of course, is who will accredit this degree and the label? The Commission gives some input about the answers. What's next? To support member states and the higher education sector, the Commission intends to set up next year a European degree policy lab to develop detailed guidelines and action plans to guide the implementation of a European degree with experts from the member states, higher education institutions, quality assurance accreditation agency, students and economic and social partners. They will set up a new annual European degree forum, monitors. They will propose new Erasmus Plus support for European degree pathway projects, enabling the states to develop such an approach, and a new Erasmus Plus support the new European supports to design the joint programs. So we got a new framework for our discussions and our work together with this European criteria and this approach for a joint European degree or a joint European degree label, depending on what we would be able to achieve. The question of the accreditation is very important in that field. And it has been developed during the meeting of last month. And what is expected probably is that any entity who will want to be accredited to deliver the joint label or the joint diploma when it will be created could choose the accreditation agency, and probably if we define for any program a coordinating institution, the partners of the program should decide that the accreditation is submitted to one of the national agency, which is itself accredited to recognize the degree or the label, and which corresponds to several criteria. looking at the criteria for the joint European degree label, the European Commission proposed in the annex of the call of 2 years ago a list of criteria. Some were presented as compulsory criteria, though others as optional criteria. And following the work that has been done by the European universities and by the universities who who applied to the call, they produced very recently a new list of criteria that has been organized in three parts: criteria concerning transnational program organization and management, criteria concerning learning experience, and much more centered or much more student-centered, and criteria concerning European values. We will share with you the details concerning each of these criteria, because there's a very short description of each of these criteria. Some are very easy to fulfill and are fulfilled by any of the programs about which we are working. The first, of course, is that our higher education institutions are accredited to deliver the diploma. You can find conditions about the number of institutions that could be involved, the minimum number of the higher educations, the institutions that could be involved. And you can find some specificity concerning, or some details concerning each of these criteria, or short description concerning each of these criteria that could be applied depending on the criterion. That could be applied to the level 6, 7, and 8 European qualification framework from the European qualification framework level. So some of them are available only for the level 6 and 7, so for the bachelor and master programs. The others are, and some of them are applicable only to the doctorate level, but most of them may be applied to all the three levels. Do I continue, Souheila, or you continue?
As you want. You can.
I don't remember what is just after this slide. Yeah, okay. I can just continue. So what about accreditation and national regulations concerning this issue? The main challenges are how we can deal with our own national regulations and their differences, because of course you know the diversity of our national regulations. Some are very very severe. Some are allow some possibilities, other do not allow that. And of course, if we try to apply if we try to take into account all the national regulations, what is allowed, what is not allowed in each country, it is very difficult to build a joint diploma. We can build a joint program relatively easily, but a joint diploma is much more complicated. So we have to deal with that. And of course, the European label and the European diploma will be very helpful, because it's applicable regardless the national regulations. Of course, we can imagine that it could be also a way to how can I say that, to initiate some national evolutions in the regulations and national the conversions of the national regulations. So among the possible solutions to deliver and to award the label or the European diploma is to choose an accreditation agency, in considering that the program must follow the standard and guidelines for quality assurance in the European higher education area, that must follow the European approach for quality assurance of joint programs approved by the European ministers 10 years ago. And we can call to the agencies that are registered in ECAR, the European Quality. What does it mean, ECAR? I forgot. But it's the European Quality Agency. I don't remember what means the R.
The European Quality Assurance Registered Agency. I think.
Registered.
Register, yes.
Registered. And so one possibility to award the label and the diploma is that, or the diploma, is that when the European University will have adopted a legal entity, it will be this new legal institution that could apply to award the label and the diploma and the European diploma, and not directly each university which is involved in the program. That will be that may be very helpful for some situations. So some reminder, probably it's not necessary to discuss about that. These are the standards for the European approach for quality assurance of joint programs. So of course the programs must follow these standards about eligibility, about learning outcome, and so on. And also, the programs must follow the European approach for quality assurance of joint program. So the procedure is probably the procedure that is well known by all of us concerning our national agencies for the French universities. It's clearly the procedure that is followed by the French agencies. Either HCRS or CTI for those who know that. And so probably we won't tell more about that. So if we follow what has been presented yesterday and today, the new European common recommendations that have been submitted to the Commission and adoption. The first is that the first recommendation is to adopt the European criteria of the European degree label. The second is to allow quality assurance agency registered in ECAR to award the European label and to grant higher education institutions and alliances of higher education institution the ability to award the European label based on internal quality assurance. And the third recommendation is to work with ECHA to identify ways to complement the regular European standard and guidelines review of the work of the national quality assurance agency in assuring that joint programs match the European criteria and create a repository of programs that have met the European criteria. I think, yes, I think that we have described more or less the new framework that is been that is about to be launched by the European Commission, and probably we must pay attention to these criteria in the first step, to the criteria and to this new environment that is coming sooner than expected. We were speaking about that for many years, but we understood 1 month ago that things were going faster than expected, and we must prepare us to be ready to apply to joint label if it's launched next year, and to apply, if possible, to the joint diploma if it's launched in 2 years. And in the first approach, pay attention to the European criteria to define our own Transform for Europe joint criteria. We must pay attention to choose criteria that are in line with the European criteria for joint degrees and for the joint degree label. So
Thank you.
Go ahead, Souheila. Let's make a short pause if some of you want to say something about that, or
if you have questions or comments.
If
maybe
you have questions and comments, it's up to you. Not all together. No, it was.
I have a question. Sorry, thank you so much for all this information. I do have to admit that it's awfully complicated and that it was a very, difficult to follow. But we will be able to get these slides, right? And
yes, of course.
Share them. Okay, good. Because this is super important information, brand new information, also for me concerning the, as you said, really also now quick reaction on part of the European Union to go through with the development of the criteria for the joint European label. But I assume that a little later we will also talk about the benefits that the different degree situations, actually then have for us as an alliance, for the individual institutions and so on, because that's the one thing that I haven't fully understood yet, what the benefits really are, apart from the fact that, and this is something that I've always hoped for, but I think, will still not be solved, that there is less bureaucracy and that certain questions that we have will be taken care of or, are already answered. So this is what I hope, will also be part of these criteria, but I don't know what you are kind of, I don't know, how you kind of estimate the situation, but thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you. Other comments or questions, or we do not have the answers to any question you may expecting, but yeah, it gives us a slightly different framework than we could have expected, but we have guidelines that are more and more precise about this framework, this European framework. So we must take it into account to build our own joint programs and degrees, of course. And it will be, I think the most important thing is that it may be the label and the European diploma may be very helpful in all the cases where we may be unable to deliver a joint diploma. We are already able to produce joint programs. We have built joint program, we will build joint program, but we can deliver double and multiple degrees with various national regulations, but that in most situations it's possible. What is the thing which is very, very difficult is to award joint diplomas. In many situations, national regulations are very different about that issue, so that's important to have this framework and these new opportunities. So if no question, we can probably continue. Souheila, it's up to you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Alain. And talking about the criteria, the next step will be also to define our own criteria for our alliance, to create joint programs specific to our alliance, and to adapt the European criteria and to include them with our own criteria on T4U. This is why the upcoming presentations of joint programs will allow us to have examples of criteria for developing a joint program and to draw inspiration from them to work on ours. Something that we have to keep in mind is that to stay informed about developments regarding legal status, since only the European label is reserved for alliances. So only alliances can, for the moment, can award a European label and European degree after. So this task is the task 1.7 led by University of Silesia. So we have to keep this in mind. And some of the T4U criteria for joint curricula that have been already identified are interdisciplinary collaborative education, enhance the knowledge entrepreneurial mindset, cooperation through matchmaking activities, flexible mobility and automatic recognition, joint approach to T4U micro-credential through short courses, for example, T4U week, etc. And if any of you have additional proposition on T4U criteria, feel free to share them. It will also be the subject of our next meetings to adapt and to work on our own criteria for T4U. So if you have some additional propositions or comments about T4U criteria, feel free to share before moving to the presentations.
Just about an input about micro-credentials. The subject of micro-credentials has been discussed about awarding European label or European diploma also for micro-credentials. It was not specified in the communications, the European communication of yesterday and today, but the subject was discussed within the European University who worked on the last call. So probably micro-credentials will be candidates for the label relatively easily.
Yes, they spoke about the micro-credentials and quality assurance at institutional level, and I think they will make it clearer on the guidelines that they will provide next year, I think.
Sorry, may I ask a question? Alan, I would like to ask, of course, as representing the University of Silesia, should we remember about adding any special part to our legal status document concerning this will to create a European degree? Do you think that it will be necessary, or European regulations will be enough to permit us to act as the European Alliance?
Difficult to answer. Difficult to answer to the question.
I can imagine that it might be difficult, because when you have been presenting, I have run very quickly through the blueprint document of the European Union. I think it is 140 pages. So sorry, in 15 minutes, I'm not able, to analyze it so quick. But thank you very much for paying attention for this element. I will inform our group working on legal entity to pay attention, and we will analyze the European documents and not to miss also this possibility. So just, to maybe note in our minutes that I'm also taking it into account. Thank you.
What is totally sure is that if we do not have any legal status for the alliance would not be able to apply to deliver the label or the diploma. So that's important to have this in mind. If the European University has no legal status, no label, no diploma, no European degree, and but a consortium of universities may apply, but in this case, one of the members of the consortium may be the coordinating institution of each program, and apply. The coordinating institution can change from a program to another, but it's less integrated in that case, of course. But what I'm pretty sure is that we must coordinate our tasks regarding this issue.
Yeah, I have a small question. I read that the European label would be reserved for alliances, meaning that this label could only be for diploma inside the alliances, or meaning that only for a joint program between members of the alliance, or it would be sufficient to have at least one university, or university, let's say, in the alliance to obtain a label concerning, for example, a joint program with another university outside the alliance.
We will have details further, probably. I think the things won't be so strictly separated. So clearly, European universities are the target, but of course, the joint label and the joint degree will certainly be open to other consortia of universities, including or not European universities. But there are the European universities are clearly mentioned in the communication as the European institution. It's not exactly used institution for the moment, but they are clearly mentioned as the entities who may be accredited to deliver the label or the degree. But it is also mentioned that groups of universities could apply, but of course I think it will be impossible to be very strict and to allow only European university, but they want to work with European university to build it. And in a first step, probably European university will be the first, the first and the only accredited structures. But yeah, we will see when they will produce more information.
May I also ask a small question? Do you expect that there will be some changes in the national legislation and that so that we should comply with these new recommendations and the higher education package?
That's just my opinion. But I think that this possibility allows us to work with our national regulations as they are. I think that what is proposed either for the label or for the joint degree allows us to continue to work with our national regulations as they are at the moment. But I think that the idea doing that is to provoke evolutions of the national regulations and convergence of the national regulations. If our universities from different countries adopt these criteria, apply to the labor, deliver the European degree for transnational programs, probably it will induce evolutions in the national regulations. I know that in France, the ministry is working on new regulations concerning diplomas. They are working on simplifications of some procedures and to be as close as possible to the European criteria when they will be adopted. I imagine that it may be possible that other countries have the same approach. I think the idea is to help to converge with to this criteria and to this common criteria and to induce convergence of the national regulations, not to impose the regulation, but to induce the evolution. But that's my opinion. For the moment, it may be helpful for those who have the less flexible regulations to use this criteria and to use this opportunity. Other questions or ideas or no? Perhaps we can go ahead.
Yes. So we will now move to the joint degrees presentation. So this is the last part. Experts from different partner universities will be presenting joint programs currently run in their universities And I would like to thank the coordinators and the experts for having accepted to participate to the workshop and taking time for this presentations. So here is the order for the presentation, if you agree. And after each presentation, feel free to ask questions to the experts about their joint programs, about the criteria, etc. So if Professor Manfioletti, if you agree, would you like to start with your presentation? I will stop sharing my screen. I don't know if
Yes, I'm here.
yes. Oh, so
So I have some problems in sharing my presentation because it asked me to register the screen. So I normally don't use WebEx. So
try again. I made some change in the
yeah, maybe you can
yes.
proceed with the next
Yes.
one, and the meanwhile I will try to fix
Yeah,
this
of
problem.
course.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Alain, maybe you could I will share my screen again to present. You're the next on the list. So
So I'm not responsible for this program, but I must apologize our colleague Franck Martin, who was not available to join the meeting this afternoon. And I will make the presentation of a multiple master's degree in translation that has been developed and created within the framework of the European University Arcus when we participated to this European University. At the beginning, this program involved 4 partner universities from Arcus. Jean-Monnet University, the University of Granada, the University of Padova in Italy, and the University of Vilnius in Lithuania. And 2 other universities have joined the program. These 2 universities are the University of Wrocław in Poland and the University of Minho in Portugal, who are the 2 new members of Arcus. We, Jean-Monnet University, do not belong anymore to Arcus. The program is based on national programs and degrees at each partner university. So it's not a program that has been designed from scratch. It's directly based on the existing programs at each university. The possible languages that are available within this master are English, French, German, Italian, Lithuanian, Russian, Spanish, and probably, but as we are not now in Arcus, I don't know what is about Polish and Portuguese, but I suppose that Polish and Portuguese may be available in the program by now. The program is designed to allow the acquisition of advanced knowledge in the field of translation and demonstrate. And the program is also designed to complement the general knowledge of translation graduate. And it may be possible to attend the program for graduates from other fields, but I don't know if it's really existing for the moment from among the students. Concerning the language requirements, the programs require minimum 2 languages, but in most situations 3. It's the case if I consider the students who are involved in the French program, national program. Language A is the mother language of the student. And of course, very good skills are expected in mother language. And language B is what we call the foreign language of specialty. And the language C is a complementary foreign language or reinforcement foreign language, which is not always compulsory in any case. And the program is based on mobility tracks. At least for the third semester of the master program. The mobility tracks depend on the studied combinations of languages and levels which can be offered by each partner. If I consider only Jean-Monnet University, we only offer 4 possibilities of languages in our local program: English, Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese. Sorry, I forgot German, and German also. We do not offer Russian or Lithuanian or any other European language. This leads to several schemes of double or multiple diplomas. And considering the mobility tracks, there is also the possibility of an additional semester at the University of Bergen in Norway, which is a former Arcus member. There was a lot of spin-off in Arcus 2 years ago. And I can give 2 examples, sorry. If we consider the mobility tracks from Jean-Monnet University, we take the example of a student which is registered initially at Jean-Monnet University. He has these 2 first semesters of the master programs at Jean-Monnet University, and he could apply to the mobility track at Granada, Padova, or very recently Wrocław for the third semester, and he comes back to Saint-Etienne for the 4th semester. And depending on the university where he spent he attended his 3rd semester, 3 double degrees could be awarded, either double degree from Jean-Monnet University and University of Granada, or Jean-Monnet University and Padova, or Jean-Monnet University and Wrocław. And so we have 3 possibilities. Of course, the 3 possibilities concern different combinations of languages. And in any situation, in this case, the language A is French. If I look at the opportunity that are offered from the University of Granada, Spanish students from the University of Granada have the same proposal as the French students from Jean-Monnet University. They spend their 2 first semesters in Granada, And for the third semester, they can choose either Saint-Etienne, Padova, or Vilnius, not Wrocław, but Vilnius in that case, and come back to Granada for the last semester. And also 3 other double degrees could be awarded, either Granada and Saint-Etienne, Granada and Padova, or Granada and Vilnius. And in this case, the language A is Spanish. And but Granada also offered the possibility of a full year mobility in Padova, and in that case, the students spend 2 semesters in Granada and after that 2 semesters in Padova, and there is another double degree specifically for these students who have spent 1 year in Granada and 1 year in Padova. And they also offer a third possibility concerning with 2 mobilities. They spend the 2 first semester in Granada. They come to Saint-Etienne for the third semester, and they go to Padova for the last semester. And in this case, for the Spanish students with language A, Spanish, could be awarded 3 degrees by Granada, Saint-Etienne, and Padova. And other mobility tracks are proposed from any of the partner institutions. That's a multiple degree. That's a multiple master's degree. So one specific example, relatively original, that we propose.
Thank you, Alain.
That's all, very briefly.
If you have questions on this multiple master's degree, or if you have comments. Okay, so we can move maybe to the next presentation. Here, if Professor Mancioletti is ready, I can give you the floor, or we can also go on with.
Okay, so I think I'm able to
okay.
Start.
Yes, I will.
I believe I fixed the problem, but we'll see.
Okay.
So let me try it again. Yes.
Yeah, it's working.
It is, right? Yes.
Yes, we can see everything's clear.
Okay, just a second. Is it okay?
That's perfect.
Yes, we can see your screen. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm the coordinator of 2 double degree programs that we have with the University Paris-Cité and the other one, University Rennes in France, both of them in France. So the first one has been established 15 years ago. The second one is more recent, so it is working since 5 years ago, and both received recently support from the Italian French University. So the double degrees programs are organized at the level of master degrees. More specifically, they are in the field of molecular biology and genetics. So students that are enrolled in the master program in functional genomics in Trieste here, after having completed successfully the first year, to obtain the double degree, they should complete the second year in which is held in English in the partner universities, either Paris or Rennes, complete the internship in the host institution or in Trieste or in other affiliated laboratories, and discuss the dissertation at the host university. So at the end of the course, students will receive both the master degree in functional genomics from our university here in Italy, in Trieste, and the Master de Science Santé d'Application, Mention Génétique in Paris, or the Master Biologie Moléculaire and Cellulaire in Rennes. So each academic year we have a selected number of students, 6, enrolled in the master degree in functional genomics that will be able to access each of the 2 programs, so 12 altogether. And in order to receive financial support, students must apply for Erasmus study mobility, and possibly for other international mobility scholarship. Now, since the program has been funded for 3 years by the Italian-French University, students receive further support for their mobility from this grant that we have. Participants are selected by the Italian component of the double degree teaching committee, which assesses the suitability of candidates on the basis of their studies, motivation, and knowledge of English. And then to participate in the program, students must have passed the first year of the master degree course. So in other words, before starting the second year at the partner university, they should have completed the first year. And this is because in France, the master degree is organized in 2 years, like our master degree, but they are somehow separated. So M1 and M2. So in order to be able to access to M2, we have to complete M1. And so we have to adopt the same, say, rules and same organization. Okay, so this is the flow of the program. So students here have to attend the first year courses. Then at the end of the first semester, there is the selection for students for the double degree. Then the students selected together with the other students, they have to complete the first year, so the second semester, and then they move to the host institution, the host university, that can be either Paris or Rennes, depending what they have chosen. So they continue there, attending the courses in the first semester, do the internship in the second semester. At the end, they have, let's say, the final exam. Usually I'm part of the committee for this final exam. And then at the end, they have a double degree from our university and from the host university. What we have done since the beginning, we organized with the University of Paris-Cité a joint course, which is called Erasmus Week. It is an intensive 1-week course on a specific topic. And during this week, we have students from Paris and hopefully from the next year from Rennes as well, here in Trieste, together with the students that are here. They attend seminars, they present posters about their internship, their experimental activity, and they do also other activities here. And so this is okay, so this is more or less the organization. So let's say that if I have to go back to the beginning of this story, I can recall some steps that I feel were relevant for the success of this initiative, or at least what I think it is a success. So at the beginning, you have to identify a master degree that has a similar structure and content, activate Erasmus mobility, identify a teacher from the other university who is active, interested in the program, and work quite a lot on the double degree agreement that provides for mutual recognition of first and second year programs. Check the possibility of joint activities. We have organized this so-called Erasmus Week. And one important aspect is reciprocity. So that can take some time, but now I think we reached this, let's say, goal, because we have students from here going to Paris and Rennes, so outgoing students, but we have also students coming from Rennes and Paris to Trieste. And so there is, let's say, a quite good number of students. Last year we had 6 students from Rennes and 3 from Paris, and the next year probably we have 6 from Paris and 6 from Rennes, and we have also several students going to Paris and Rennes from here. So I didn't mention, but of course I meant that the double degree is, I mean, I described from our side, but of course also there is a selection from the partner university and so on. One important step is also to promote the program, and also we have in mind, I mean, this double possibility, double degree and joint degree, but at the beginning and also now we think that it is more feasible, easier maybe, to start with a double degree and then maybe move to a joint degree. Okay, so that's all. Thank you. If you have questions.
Thank you, Professor Maggioletti. If you have a question or remark, no question before moving to the next presentation. So it will be Dr. Fellner.
Correct.
Lisa.
Okay, thank you very much. If you could unshare your screen,
Yes.
then I'll try to share mine.
Yes.
All right, let's see if it works. Okay, does it work? Yes.
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much for the kind invitation. My name is Astrid Fellner. I'm professor of North American Studies at Saarland University, and I'm co-founder of this joint master's program. I'm also the second person in charge at Saarland University. And let me tell you a little bit about the history of this master's program. which we developed between, I think, the years 2014 and 17. And I'm also happy to say that one of our alumna, one of our former students is here because she, in our meeting here, right, Adele, because she now works for Saarland University. So Adele, you can fill in anything that you want to from your perspective. The background is that this is not a university alliance, our area. This is the University of the Greater Region, which is a university alliance that was established first through an Interreg program and then became institutionalized and consists of 5 regions, 4 countries, and 3 languages. And I've given you some details here. And within the University of the Greater Region, we developed a Light Tower project fairly early in 2014, and that was Border Studies. And we created the University of the Greater Region Center for Border Studies. After we had consolidated and also asked for Interreg funding for that center, we decided to develop a joint master's program, which was easy on the one hand because we knew our partners very well already at that time because a lot of colleagues had already collaborated many years up to the creation, the official creation of the Center for Border Studies. But at the same time, it was also difficult because it was the first joint master's program at Saarland University, and we had a couple of obstacles. The first one was that we knew we could not create a master's program with all of our partners. Right now, there is 11 universities in the University of the Greater Region. Here it still says 7 universities. I think it's an old slide, but we decided that we could only really create the master's program with 4 universities. But it's in 3 countries, and we have 3 languages. And these are also our languages that we use as language criteria. So our master's in border studies, and I'll say a little bit about the content in a moment, is conducted in 3 languages, in French, in German, in English. As it is a joint master's, it's really mixed. And in some classes, like in my class, we really use these 3 languages, sometimes even at the same time. So this is actually, we'll come to that a little later, the biggest challenge of our program, because we really have very strong admission criteria. We ask a B2 proficiency in all 3 languages, and that is something that we have noticed is actually quite difficult. We have a steering committee, and we meet very often, and we select the students jointly. We vote on that actually, and students are supposed to apply standard procedure with their certificates. They also are supposed to write a motivation letter, and sometimes then when we see that the language certificates are not sufficient, or they're old, or there's other problems or insecurities, we also conduct interviews, which is something that I found extremely helpful, and it also is a good way of getting to know prospective students or applicants at that point, and convince them to come and attend our program. Let me come to the content now. So we are the Center for Border Studies, the University of the Greater Region across borders. So we really wanted to study borders. We really wanted to study borders in our region, the Greater Region, and also elsewhere. And we've divided up the curriculum in the following way. It's a 2-year program. We have the same challenge as Manfioletti just pointed out with France, that in France they have, after the first year, they do have a kind of concluding thesis also. But we have year 1 and year 2, and I apologize, I was just told a couple of days ago that I should do this, so I haven't been able to come up, with a translated version of our visualizations here. But you see that the colors, that we have chosen for the different universities, if you just look at this image here, you'll see that it is a densely interwoven program. We start out with this round little circle here, which is our introductory seminar, which is right at the beginning of the program, where we meet in Schengen, which we think is a very symbolic and well-chosen ground. To meet all the students and to be there, as many professors as possible. And then we divide the semester up into the first year, where students are supposed to study at the University of Lorraine in France and at the University in Luxembourg. We then have brief interruptions here. We have brief these are the blue. Blue is for Saarland University. Anyway, Adele will, be better, able to tell me exactly what happens in excursion, I think it is. And then in the second semester, when students are still at University of Lorraine and Luxembourg, they come to Saarland University for a brief seminar that I actually teach. So it's two weekends, a compact seminar, so that they actually already get to see Saarland University's campus. And then in the second year, after an internship and after defending, their internship report in order to get the Master 1 in France, they then move to the second year and they come to Germany. They are supposed to move then to Germany, and they can choose where they live. But classes then will happen in Saarland University in Saarbrücken, and also at the Technical University in Kaiserslautern. The fourth semester then is devoted to the master thesis. If we break it up, there is one other speciality that I would like to share with you, is that in terms of the content of the program, students can choose between 2 tracks. And again, if you look at it, I don't think it's necessary to read any of the modules and so on. But I think what's important is that you see the colors, and that there is what I think a very well thought interweaving or interwovenness of different courses that happen through the entire study program. I myself am a professor at Saarland University, but because of the course content, I wanted to teach. I'm a cultural studies person, and an introduction to cultural border studies. And I thought, well, an introduction really only works in the first semester. So I took a look and I said, well, I want to teach this class in the first semester, but the students are either in Lorraine or in Luxembourg. So I actually have managed to also teach a class at the University of Luxembourg. So I drive to Luxembourg in the winter term in order to follow my students, because we wanted to really make sure that they get exposed to the best content. So you see this goes on. This is year 1 and year 2. There is a heavy focus then on the 2 universities in Germany in the third semester, but in the fourth semester they choose to do their master thesis. They have to choose 2 supervisors, of course, and they have to be from different universities. So that's also a must, and something that is written into our course joint agreement. That's what I wanted to say. The 2 specialization tracks is something I wanted to mention. They can choose, between a focus on geography and spatial planning, and the other one cultural studies, languages, literature, and so on. So that is something that is also well thought through. I included this slide because I wanted to show to you that one of the problems that we had when we created this program was that we had to pay attention, of course, to the national specificities. So for instance, and also the in Germany, it's not the national level that is important when we come to higher education, but the state level. So certain universities then required their students to have a certain number of credit points so that they could, bestow the MA title. So we had to take into consideration all sorts of specific regulations of the partner universities, which then, constituted a form, of course, of difficulty. Yeah, so joint study regulations was actually something that was pretty difficult to work on, and now that we've just gone through re-accreditation of the program, our joint study regulations are still that's still the most difficult document. Because of course we need the signatures of all 4 presidents. Our students do get one diploma in the end, signed by 4 presidents. But there is always a lot of negotiations, of course, and it's actually not so easy. Of course, we've come up with conversion tables, for grades, which is also an interesting lesson in maths, that you kind of convert them back and forth. And sometimes I feel in the end, if you convert them a couple of more times, as grades always get better. So this is good news, for our students. And of course, we have to follow all sorts of local regulations, which make things difficult all the way through, all the time. Timetable is an interesting thing, of course. So I'm just coming to very practical things here. We have a sophisticated system here. We have 4 universities that have different semesters, different semester breaks. Just today, for instance, when at Saarland University, I'm still in the winter semester. The summer semester hasn't started. University of Luxembourg is already asking for information for the next winter semester. So we do have to coordinate very well, and we make sure that our students, although it's still a master's program that is challenging because it involves high mobility on the parts of students, we try to schedule courses, for instance, as you can see here, we try to make sure that one university only has their courses on Monday, Tuesdays, and the other university, this is the first semester here, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so that students don't have to commute back and forth, because commuting between the universities, although the distance is not that big, these universities are pretty close, in close vicinity, but it's still difficult because of a lack of a good, train system or bus system. So it still takes a time. We do have, I'll just skip that one. We do have funding from the Franco-German University that supports our program and that offers mobility grants to our students. They have to be enrolled at all universities, but our students, when they are enrolled at a German university or French university, they are applicable for that. But Adele would have to correct me here. I think it's only for the first year, because that's, when they are in France, and then they're supposed to come to Germany. We don't need, I think, any other funding. We've talked about Erasmus funding, and that somehow constituted a problem. But because we're, close together and students can go back and forth, usually no other funding is necessary. And I'll just run you through all of our lists. All in all, we have about 20, 30 teachers that participate in the program. So I think that's all that I want to say on my part. And now I just have to find my way back to the main screen so I can unshare, and I'm looking forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fellner, for your presentation. if you have some questions or remarks.
I can add that the German accreditation law is very strict with regard to specifications and parts that you have to that have to be fulfilled to offer a joint program. So we are not the most easiest partner, I think, but yeah, the border studies study program contains all these specifications, and we try to be more we try to utilize a lot of spaces for you can say spaces for freedom to install the program in a very pragmatic sense. So that's what as a part of the quality management I can add.
I do want to add, though, if I may add that we've, collaborated, of course, very, very closely and very intensely over the past years. We did have a lot of help when we created the program, and this is, of course, something similar that we have now in T4EU. This is a recognized university alliance, so to speak. The University of the Greater Region at that time was, moving from a loosely associated partner university system, so to speak, to an institution, but we didn't have the same guidelines. It helped, that we had vice presidents on our side. I was one of them. And, this for me is still the most important thing, that you get to know people, that you actually visit each other, that you go to the other university and you say, listen, you need to sign this now, or you need to do this, or we need to, I think it's a very practically related questions are really important if you just, solve them in person. So thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's very interesting. And thank you, Adele. Yes, I was going to ask you to present your joint master. Yes, Vytautas Magnus University to present the international joint degree master.
Hello everyone. I hope you can see my screen and you can hear me. So I'm Jurgita Vaičianonienė from Vytautas Magnus University, and I will very briefly try to present our international master joint degree study program in social linguistics and multilingualism, which I am the chair of. So the program itself originated nearly 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago in 2013. And it was originally jointly developed by 4 partners to give the students a solid grounding on various aspects of social linguistics and multilingualism at both national and international levels. And the most important institutions which undertook this challenge were Johannes Gutenberg University in Mainz and our Vytautas Magnus University in Kaunas. And we also cooperated with Stockholm University and the University of Tartu. Now, next slide. Here. So the study cycle. Typically per year, we have over 50 applicants coming from all over the world. Not all of them are eligible. And we usually start already working with 30 or so eligible applicants per year. We have interviews with them, and typically we admit 15 to 20 students. As I said, the geographical variation is very broad, all the continents and different countries. So every year the group that we have is fantastic and interesting from the cross-cultural communication perspective and of course other things. So the students start their first semester in Kaunas in September. They finish in December. Then they have a break of several months during which they typically go on internship. And then they continue their second semester in Mainz, which starts in April. And what is interesting for the third semester, they have an opportunity to choose between two universities. Either they go to Tartu or to Stockholm, and they appreciate this this flexibility, this choice, and that they can choose on their own. And then their choices, they vary. Sometimes all of the group goes to Stockholm, sometimes more students go to Tartu. So this is different from year to year. As to the fourth semester, we advise them to choose the country where their supervisor stays, but it also varies. Let's say some students, they just go to their home country and they communicate with their supervisor via, online means. Now, the students also appreciate this built-in mobility, and also the fact that when they attend the lectures, they're always in this multilingual, cross-cultural community, interacting with local, international students. And this, of course, helps them to enhance their cross-cultural communication skills. Now, what is important, well, is the uniqueness of our program is that it is, I could say, free. The students don't have to pay huge semester fees. So this is very attractive for them. And the other thing is that they can apply for various supporting grants. For example, for their stay in Kaunas for the first semester, they may apply for the DART scholarship. I think that it is already coming to an end. I have to check this, but it won't last forever. But for the second and third semester in Mainz and this other university, they receive Erasmus mobility grants, which help them greatly to support their stay in these other countries. For the fourth semester, they may apply for a 2 months internship scholarship, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a 2-year duration program. The students have to collect 120 ETCS credits. We have these compulsory and elective modules which focus on various social, linguistic, and multilingualism aspects in the Nordic and Baltic area in particular. And also what students appreciate is that when they stay in a different country, they have these opportunities to learn the languages of the country. So they learn at least 3 additional languages, well, to different levels and to different degrees, but this is what they appreciate. Now, as this is a joint degree program, so when they graduate, they receive one diploma issued, like signed jointly by 2 partner institutions, Vytautas Magnus University and the Johannes Gutenberg University in Mainz. And this is also very attractive for them. As to their career possibilities, they are very broad. A lot of actually students that we have, they continue their studies as doctoral students at our partner institutions. They work at European Union offices. They establish their own language schools. So the career possibilities are vast, and we also maintain contact with our alumni, and sometimes they come back to give their lectures and tell on their experiences, give advice to future or current students. So this is also a nice tradition. And we also have various channels for information dissemination, which we believe are working quite well. We have a website for the program, which presents all the most important information for a document application, for other important issues. We have Facebook website. Another website is on the university side. And then, of course, we have this system, Dream Apply, via which they apply to the program. So that was very, very briefly about this program, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So if there are no questions, maybe we can move to Kaya, your presentation if you have time.
Sorry, yeah, now I interrupted the audio, but now I also discovered that I have I can't share with WebEx something with my I have to, I think, add. So I guess I can take someone comes before me and then or I don't know.
Okay, so
I need to do some settings, but I don't know yet what.
okay, Maria, maybe you can take the floor. Yes. You can share your screen, Maria, or it's a problem also? We can't hear you. Your mic is muted.
I'm sorry, everyone. I have workers coming in and out of the house. So if you see strange men walking behind me, don't be surprised. Okay, let
No
me share.
problem.
Okay, just to share the screen with you.
Okay.
Okay. I do
Kaya,
hope.
maybe Kaya, you wanted to say something?
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Is
okay.
Okay. I feel a bit at a disadvantage because I'm actually going to be talking about an undergraduate double degree. Everyone has talked about masters up until now. So I feel like I'm in a minority group. For some reason, which is beyond my knowledge, about 2 or 3 years ago, a strategic decision was made that we were going to set up double degrees with a university in Brazil called Université. So every single faculty, and this is what the screenshot is about, every single faculty from the law faculty to the education faculty, we've tried to find a way to set up a joint degree program with Université. Now, I was going to talk today about our primary education degree, but after doing a little bit of research, I have discovered that we actually have had no students from our university go to Université, and none from Université come from ours. So instead, as it's in the same faculty, we're going to talk about the sports degree, which has had some level of success. Okay. It was done in such a way that the students in 4 years would get 2 degrees. So what they tried to do was set it up in such a way that the last year would be the year of mobility. One of the disadvantages of this program is that from the very first year at Université and at the University of Alicante, students have to know that they want to do this double degree because they have to not take certain subjects according to the year that they're in, because that subject will be done in the last year so they can obtain their double degree program. So the Université students have to do 66 ECTS. And it looks like this. Okay, so first semester they would do 30 credits. Second semester they would do 36 credits, which is quite a lot. And as you can see, depending on the year, They've been taking subjects from first year, second year, third year, and fourth year. This is why it's so important that they know from the very beginning that they want to participate on this double degree program. Our students who want to go to Univalley have it just a little bit easier. They only have to do 10 subjects. And again, they would do it in their final year of the degree program. Now, the interesting thing about this is that it also allows our students time for language preparation, because Portuguese is not a usual second language or foreign language. So students who know they're going to do this program have plenty of time to take language courses, which are subsidized by the university. So once they pass the course, they get their money back, which is wonderful. And there's also specific funding for this program, which is financed by the local regional government, the Generalitat, and the University of Alicante. We have found that of the 3 degrees we've offered, now that I have asked for the number of students who participated, the physical education degree is functioning reasonably well. The primary education degree and the pre-primary education degree are not functioning well. And it seems to be that the linguistic requirement of our regional language, Valenciano, is the real issue for those students who want to come here. So it's not such an issue for the students who want to go somewhere else. The students who want to come here just don't see the point. So this is basically our double degree program. Are there any questions? Okay, should I stop sharing? Yes, okay. Any questions, any doubts? I have to admit, Univalley is right on the coast of Brazil. It's an absolutely gorgeous place to do water sports. So they do things like windsurfing and kayaking and all sorts of, so I can see why our physical education students want to go and why theirs want to come here. So that's why I think that's part of the success of that particular program. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I think everyone wants to register to this. Kaya, if you have enough time, maybe you can go on with your presentation.
Yes, and it seems that I happily managed to solve the sharing issue. Basically, I tried to do quickly. Oops, no. Okay, yeah, I tried to do quickly. In Estonia, I would say our academy is very much a beginner in the joint degrees, and we actually have 4 degrees that are between other Estonian universities, and this service design strategies and innovation is the only one that is international. It is the first year program, so it started this 2023 fall, and it is between 3 partners: Arts Academy of Latvia, University of Lapland, and Estonian Academy of Arts. And Arts Academy of Latvia is the main coordinator, or the main initiator, and I also must say that those partners have had long cooperation before this joint degree, and it is this Erasmus Mundus joint master's program. It also offers the scholarships of this Erasmus Mundus scholarships. Yeah, basically. But for me and from our university, the coordinator of this program, actually we were discussing, because for me it's a little bit confusing, and I must say she also said that she's not fully confident about it, because it's like the agreement is about with joint degree, but we when we talk about diplomas, then we give out 3 different diplomas. So I'm still a little bit confused about this thing, I must say. But what I also wanted to bring out, that it was, from our perspective, it was enormously popular program when it was opened, because it had 700 applications, which is a big number for us for one curriculum. And this year, in the submission period has already started, or they are choosing the students for this new academic year, and now it was slightly less, but still about 650 plus a little bit of applicants. And altogether 32 students were submitted, and 20 of them got this Erasmus Mundus scholarship, and the other students had to pay a semester fee that is compared to all the rest of our university semester fees that we have in certain English master programs. It's much, much higher. So it is 400 euros per semester. So it's altogether 1 year, 8,000 euros. That is, from our perspective, it's very big number, and that's why it was very interesting that the applicants number was so high. And it is divided so that it has to have physical mobility. The first full year is in Latvia, and then in the third semester they choose either Lapland University or our university. And there's the difference between like their specialization. In Lapland they will specialize in digital service design and strategic service design, and in Estonian context they have this sustainable transitions and more like a sustainable approach, and then more this liberty to take elective subjects with 15 ECTs. And then there's in this agreement, there is that they switch those students who were in Lapland in third semester come to EKA for the fourth, and vice versa. And also in the agreement is that if Latvia University or Academy is responsible for the first year, then Lapland University and the Estonian Academy of Arts, they are responsible for those master program, like those helping to prepare master thesis and like offering these supervisors for master thesis and etc. And it gives out 3 degrees. They are the national degrees, and also then this joint diploma supplement. This is stated in this consortium agreement. And then I don't know whether it was important or not. I brought out that what were the points or the I interpreted that as criteria, what is agreed in this consortium agreement, and a little bit very subjective maybe, but those that are bold and underlined, those are like more heavily focused like areas in the consortium agreement, and those that are not that much or are not bold, they are quite short, like statements. But I won't go very much in the detail, but like it brings out like the roles of like the different institutions, partners, coordinator and associate partners, what is the governing body. And I would say that this managing board of this curriculum actually has quite a big role, like agreeing the degree program, because in the consortium agreement, it has this overall agreement, and the language is in English. Everything has to be in English. And it agrees in overall the principles of this admission, that it's joint admission, it's joint scholarships, but how the process is organized and everything, this is based on management board. Student mobility is also stated in the consortium agreement, that it is compulsory, and it brings out the rights are the same as in the hosting university when students go there. And then about the quality assurance, this was a little bit interesting for me, and I would say that I maybe would have expected it even like to be more enormous, but like it brings out that it is in accordance with international and external assessment, and this Erasmus Mundus program has itself like external assessment and national regulations, and this periodic quality assurance, like these student questionnaires and etc. This is organized by management board again, and there is quite detailedly transcribed these like participation costs for students, and also how those money is allocated between partners and etc. And yeah, maybe this is almost, and like about the promotion of the program, it's also quite a lot to do for management board. So maybe quickly, that was all. I also added this web page for there, and if there are more like detailed questions, maybe about the consortium agreement, then I can take some like parts out and add to the teams as well. But I thought that as it is like so much about already between the money allocation between partners and etc. I don't want to put the full agreement there in Teams. So thank you. I try now to also quit sharing.
Thank you, Kaya. Yes. If you have questions now for Kaya before she leaves us. Okay, let's move to Mariana.
Okay, thank you. I hope I will be successful in sharing my presentation.
Yes, it's working, I think.
Yeah, okay. So, Sofia University has more than 20 joint programs with international universities. Most of them are for master programs, and we have a few cases with bachelor programs, and all of them are with French universities. So we have separate agreements with the University of Lille and the University of Portait for a program in business administration, and separate agreements with the same universities for a bachelor double degree program in economics and finance. But I have chosen to present the one in economics and management with the University of Lille. In fact, we have quite close relations with French universities, because even in other fields we have common programs, and we provide diplomas of the diplomas of both universities, even in other fields, in political sciences, in law, in sociology and culture. With the philologies, we have agreements with France, Italy, Switzerland, and also some Asian universities, mainly China and Beijing University. So I have chosen to share the fundamentals of the agreement. In fact, the agreements that are signed are very similar, and the framework, the template, was provided by our Ministry of Education and Science. So probably it's a kind of an approved template internationally within the European Union. So maybe such types of agreements are used in other European countries as well. Specifically for this agreement, all the universities that apply, all the students that apply should have completed the second year of study. So it is expected that they have already acquired 120 credits in the first 2 years. And then in the third year, the students from the University of Lille come to Sofia during the 5th semester, and they are expected to acquire 30 credits. And in the 6th semester, the Bulgarian students go to Lille, and they also have to obtain 30 credits. Thus, after the third year of study, all the students that enrolled for the program, they get their diploma, the French diploma, issued by the University of Lille. In order to help the students with their mobility, of course, we are taking advantage of the Erasmus Plus program, and also we use the grants for guest lecturers, who, especially those who come to lecture to Sofia in the first and the second year of study, to the Bulgarian students. The study is both in Bulgarian and French, and usually those students that are enrolled, the Bulgarian students, they have graduated secondary French language schools, so they are very fluent in English, in French, sorry. For the period 2019-2023, about 30 Bulgarian students have got diplomas from Lille and Portait. Unfortunately, only one French student received a diploma from Sofia University, because here come the problems. But before sharing some of the existing problems, let's say that the agreement is very simple. Students don't have to pay additional tuition fees, only those that are in the university in which they enroll, and there are the administrative fees are symbolic in amount. The students need to have liability insurance and health insurance for the period of being abroad, and of course each university guarantees the ethical use of personal data of the students which they exchange. And the problems, actually the main problem for our country is that by the law for higher education, our bachelor degree should be 4 years of study, and the students need to have 240 credits. So for the foreign students, it's difficult to stay 1 more year in Bulgaria, the 4th year of their study, in order to get the Bulgarian diploma, the one issued by Sofia University. But there is a solution, and in fact, with this agreement, this 4th year for the French student is accepted to be the 1st year of their master degree. So after their 1st year of the master degree, which they have in Sofia, they have an exam, which is usually online organized, to defend the thesis. There is a joint commission in order to agree whether the student passes the exam or not. So there is a possibility, but it's much more difficult. So about the problems, there were talks with the Ministry of Education to consider changes in the legislation and to allow the transfer of credits to refer not only to the individual disciplines, but to at the level of recognition of an entire semester or an academic year, which will make things much easier. And the other initiative that is undertaken at the moment, but we have a change of the government, and I'm not sure how quickly it will be decided, to allow those universities which decide to introduce 3rd year, 3 years bachelor programs to do so. So if we have the permission about that from our law for higher education, maybe in some cases such programs could be developed. But in terms of this joint agreement, the programs are quite similar, especially in the 3rd year of study, because the students should have the same subjects delivered in Sofia and in Lille, so that they can choose which of them they will study in their own country and respectively abroad. Thanks. If you have some questions, it's really very confusing with the different duration of study, but solution has been made. And in fact, all these agreements have been signed in 2019, and they are with a duration of 5 years, but they are considered to be successful. And for that reason, in the beginning of next year, they will be actualized or re-signed. But further information I will provide in the table so that you have complete knowledge of what kind of programs our universities offers.
Thank you very much, Mariana.
You're
Do you have
welcome.
questions or comments about? So if there are no more questions, we move to the last presentation for Tatiana, for your joint PhD from computer science.
Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Can you? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So hello from my side at the very end, and I hope you will still listen to me. Okay, so the University of Primorska actually had a very positive experience in preparing and implementing the joint PhD program in computer science with the prestigious University of St. Andrews in Scotland. Among the most important requirements for the preparation, I think for each joint study program, I would say that at the first place, there is the existing good cooperation and communication between both universities. In our case, it started with really great relations of our professors who had common research projects with their colleagues at St. Andrews. But I would also like to point out that it is really crucial to focus and to work together, both pedagogical and administrative staff, because usually the administrative staff is the one that points out all the rules and everything that has to be taken into consideration for the preparation of a new study program, and even more when we're talking about a joint study program. So we began preparing the consortium agreement, and of course many issues were open. So the major obstacle was the difference between the national legislation in Slovenia and in Scotland. And according to the Slovenian Higher Education Act, in a case the Slovenian institution prepares a joint degree with a foreign institution, there is a difference whether this foreign institution is accredited by an equal agency or not. So the process differences. In the case of St. Andrews, not only that there is no equal agency, but actually no agency at all that gives the accreditation to St. Andrews, because in fact St. Andrews was formally established by the issue of a papal bull back in 1413. And nowadays it is the University Senate of St. Andrews that has the autonomy to accredit new study programs, including the joint study programs. On the other hand, UP was established by the Slovenian government, and our study programs, including the joint study programs, have to be accredited by the National Slovenian Agency for Quality Assessment. So you can imagine that when our agency asked us, or namely St. Andrews, for proofs of accreditation of St. Andrews and its study programs, our colleagues from St. Andrews were more than surprised, because had some difficulties actually in preparing those documents. Okay, finally we managed, but this is a typical case, I would say, that shows the differences among the national rules, which represent a major difficulty when preparing joint degrees. So because of the, let me say, the special position of St. Andrews, we had to start the process of the accreditation in Slovenia. The process took 10 months to obtaining the accreditation, and although according to the Slovenian Higher Education Act, it would have to be only 5 months, but finally we were happy, however, at the end. Another issue was that all lecturers from St. Andrews involved in this joint degree had to be habilitated at our university. And we had to show the proofs and all the documentation, of course, to the national agency. Otherwise, I would have to say that we didn't have so many issues with the content of the consortium agreement. Of course, everything had to be in line with the rules of both universities. I have pointed out here some major points that are quite similar to the previous colleagues that presented. What maybe is the difference is that we decided to make at the very beginning 2 annexes to the agreement. One is the Annex 1 with the structure of the curriculum, because of course it gets more and more information, and the other was the look of the joint diploma and the joint diploma supplement. So this is and was a real joint study program, meaning that we also issued joint PhD diploma. It's a 4-year study program with 2 140 ECTS, with the language of instruction, of course, English. What we defined at the very beginning is that our university would be the leading institution, and meaning the responsible for coordination of the course implementation, and we took the overall of students' work and the examination process. These students were applied and enrolled at both universities, and the condition was that they spend at least 1 year at St. Andrews after the first year of study here in Slovenia, and then the rest also in Slovenia. In case there were few changes, you know, because also of the pandemic and other issues, we always had to have agreements by person for each candidate or student. So for the supervision of the final thesis, of course, the supervisor had to be at one university and at least one co-supervisor at the other. The final examination took place in University of Primorska. Very important for the students, of course, they must comply with the requirements of both partner universities, and what regards the fees and the other financial matters during their study period at UP, they pay local fees here, and they're exempted from the fees at St. Andrews and vice versa. So this would be very briefly in Annex 1. These were all the points that are stated, but I don't think you're interested in going so further in the content. I'm available for in case of your questions, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Tatiana. Are there questions or comments about this PhD, print PhD? Okay, so this presentation concludes our today's workshop. Thank you everyone for your active participation, and our very interesting discussions and presentations led us to exceed our intended schedule. I'm sorry for that. For this workshop, we have a lot of information to share and to deal with, particularly regarding joint programs, national regulations, and I hope they will become clearer for our future workshops, and we will continue dealing with all this information within the task 3.4. You will receive the minutes soon, and a link also for the recording and